We all have inner demons. It's how we choose to control them that makes the difference. Hello and welcome to the Friday Fantasy Show from the Bottled Imp, exploring the realms of fantasy. My name is Ken Boyter, and today we're going to take a look at Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. This is book 1 of the Ancestor series, so I believe it's going to be a trilogy. Now, we did do his first trilogy as a review, The Broken Empire. We did that, I can't remember now, it must have been about a year ago. And he snuck out another trilogy as well, the Red Queen's War. Is it Red Queen's or just the Queen's War? No, it is Red Queen's War. There you go. He snuck that one out. I didn't even know that had come out, so I haven't read that one. You know what? The good people at Ace Publisher and Mark Lawrence, they have sent me an advance review copy. This book is actually coming out early April. I believe it's the 6th of April in the UK. It might be the 4th in America. I'm not sure, but I think it's both of them. Both is in the first week. So, that said, obviously I still have to be honest, even though this was sent to me. So let's take a look at Red Sister. Red Sister. What's it all about? What's the setup? Well, it's all about the central character, which is Nona Grey, and she is a 9-year-old child, and it opens up, she's been accused of murder. Yes, a 9-year-old has been accused of murder. She's in a sort of state of kind of bewilderment, really, and fear, as you can imagine. She's actually already been captured. She's in prison, and she's waiting the hangman's noose. She has a friend as well that's also been accused of the murder. And then, lo and behold, she gets taken. She gets kind of rescued, if you like, but not in a heroic kind of let's smash the door down and kill all the guards and then rescue her. No, there's a convent called the, what are they called? The Sweet, sorry, I'm going to have to do it again. Okay. Sweet Mercy. Let's do that bit again. Sorry, take 2. Should you just do it, or do you want to do it?
Just keep going.
Okay, I'll start again. Yeah? Sweet Mercy, okay. Red Sister, what's it all about? What's the setup? Well, it's all about the central character, which is Nona Grey. She's a 9-year-old girl who is actually been accused of murder. Yes, she's already been captured. She's locked up. She's in prison, and she has a friend that's also been accused of murder. And so together, they're going to be hung or hanged. Is that how you say it? Hanged? Hung? I think it's hanged. And of course, she's fearful. She's, she's claiming that she's innocent. She knows she's innocent, but yet she's going to be hanged for this crime that she didn't commit. Well, without giving too much spoilers away, this kind of happens quite early on. She does actually get rescued, but not in a heroic kind of way where, they come in and smash the doors down and kill all the guards and hurrah, we've taken you away. No, there is a nun, and she is from a convent called the Sweet Mercy Sisters. No, the Sweet Mercy, I think that's just, I don't think they're sisters, but they are sisters. So it's Sweet Mercy Convent, and the nun comes along and kind of bluffs her way through, because she's got a bit of authority. She bluffs her way through, and she manages to, unfortunately, she can only rescue Noah, but she takes her out. And of course, she's wondering, well, why did she rescue me? And, because they just want to leave quickly, the answers can wait. So that's the setup. So it's all about her growing up in this convent. Now, this convent is not quite like the usual convent. This convent actually trains the girls to be killers. Yes, they are assassins. And there's different kind of, they each have different blood in them. So there's a theme of race that runs through this as well. So you've got, and forgive me the pronunciations, but there's the Gerant race, the Hunsky race, the Marjal race, and the Quantal race. And you can have a mixture of those bloods, but the people's origins aren't always 100% known. So you might be a mixture of them, but you may not be. So it's a little bit unclear. And what seems to be prevalent is that if you are all 4 bloods, then you are very, very rare indeed, and you are kind of highly sought after, because each of these actually each of these races and the blood types have certain qualities, certain kind of special abilities, if you like, that borders on magic. So obviously, if you're a combination of a combination of 2, 3, or 4, then you're going to have more of this sort of magic and more of the special abilities. There is also a prophecy that runs through this, and there's a little twist in the prophecy. I won't give it away, but there's a little twist in the prophecy that I really enjoyed. I liked the fact that Mark Lawrence changed it up a little bit with the prophecy. That was a nice touch. There's lots of themes. I mean, this book is heavily intense. It's very dense well, it's 460 pages, but within that, you do feel like you're really immersed in the world, and there's lots of themes that run through it. I would probably say one of the main themes is spirituality, and that is a bit of a slow burner because it's only when you get a bit more into the novel that the spirituality side of life comes into the fore. And obviously they're a convent, so they're going to be sort of connected, and they don't call it God, they call it the ancestor. And in a way, it's all about the light and this kind of magic light that runs through everything and connects everything. And it's just about how you can access that. And they have lessons, so they're being taught various lessons. So you've got things like how to mix potions and poisons. Then you've got Blade, where you're taught combat. There are other lessons as well, and obviously each girl is going to be more attuned to one or the other. So you have various different ways to the path, as it's called. You know, let's see if you can tune into the path. So I really like that because I love the fact that there's that whole connectivity that connects everything. You know, not just humans, but animals and life, the life force. And it's about how you can access that. And for some, you know, it could be by meditation, but for others, it could be through violence. So there's a nice twist on that as well. The other themes that are in this book are coming of age. Obviously, you're dealing with 9-year-olds, and this book takes them through, I think, to about 13. So it does cover a number of years, but it's very intense. So I think for the first... It seemed like the first 100 pages, I'm not sure exactly, but the first 100 pages seemed like it was the first week of Noah being there in the convent. And so you get a real intensity. It goes into great detail about their life and about their lessons. But obviously, more importantly, there's also the friendship factor. If you've been thrown into a strange place, you're going to be a bit wary, you're going to be a bit nervous maybe, or you might be somebody that's a bit cocky and a bit confident. So you've got all the conflicting personalities of a new place, especially something like a convent, where there's a certain pecking order that starts kicking off. And therefore it's how do you cope with that? How do you struggle? How do you find your feet in a place like that? So you have to form alliances. Now those alliances could be broken. So friendship is very important here. And the loyalty factor and being betrayed. There's the other theme of identity, and it all kind of ties in. So all these themes do tie in very beautifully. You've got identity. Now she knows who her mother is, she knows who her father is, but unfortunately she's taken away from her village. Again, I don't want to give too many spoilers away. And so she's struggling, though, with who she is as a person, and I think we all do, and I do still today, you're still kind of working things out and trying to find out where you fit in the world. What is your role in the world? And not only just in your day-to-day life, but maybe in a bigger picture. Are you something that is connected to the greater good or the greater evil? So there's a bigger picture playing. So yes, you've got her everyday life, but you've also got forces that are sort of beyond the walls of the convent. And occasionally they come into the convent. There are other themes about what kind of shapes you, so nurture, nature, and about what is your own nature. So for example, if you're very creative, I like to think I'm quite creative. If I'm not being creative, I find I actually get ill. I get miserable, I get depressed. So there's something in me where I have to do something, where it's doing reviews or drawing or acting or painting or whatever it is. I feel like I have that urge to do it. So Mark Lawrence looks at the nature of what it is to be human, and of course it's different for different people. Some people prefer, a bit the quiet life, and not necessarily being a creator, but just absorbing, maybe observing life. So you've got those various struggles, and then how much of that nature can you actually embrace? Even if it's something, the dark side of your nature, do you embrace that as well? How do you control those inner demons? So you've got the inner conflict, and not only with one of the characters, with the main character, but with a few other characters as well. So this book, there's a lot of characters in this. They're very well defined. The characterization is beautiful in this book. You really feel like you're with Noah in her journey. You really feel like you're in the convent. You really feel the struggle and the pain and the torture that she goes through. But you know what? She's a plucky little kid. She actually still has that core belief. She kind of knows deep down who she is and who she wants to be, but she doesn't let anything kind of knock her off that. She's very, I guess, stubborn, but stubborn in a good way. And that leads me onto that spirituality area as well, because then it's like, if you just listen to who you are, just deep down, you can't go wrong. That's, listen. Even if other people are saying, no, you're not this, you're not that, you can't do this, and being negative, if you just listen to your heart and I guess God, the ancestor, then it comes through you, and then you will start to change other people's opinions, and hopefully you'll change people for the good, because they'll see that you're living as you are meant to be living, as a spiritual, well-rounded person. So there's lots of themes going in there. As I say, the characterization is fantastic, the way they all interact, and the way that Mark Lawrence seems to write from the beginning of this story is a very... As I say, I reviewed his Broken Empire series a couple of years ago, and he released those the first one in 2011. I can see the maturity in his writing now. There's a sophistication. It was there in the Broken Empire, but it had a different kind of energy to it, a different kind of vibe. And I found in the Broken Empire, in the book one, it took a couple of chapters, maybe 3 or 4 chapters, for everything to kind of settle down and him to find a rhythm and a kind of voice. Here, right from the beginning, you can just tell he's very confident about his writing now, and very confident about how he tells stories. And I would say this is a much more sophisticated story. It's a much more, as I say, dense story going on. There's a lot going on. Not just in the micro, but also in the macro as well. So you can feel this sort of foreshadowing of a bigger picture. So obviously book 2 and book 3, I'm sure that's going to come to the foreground, and then we're going to see Noah really come into her own as she grows older, and actually grows to know who she is a bit more, and what her strengths and weaknesses are. So I really did enjoy this book. I'm still kind of processing it. I finished it yesterday, and I'm still kind of processing it. It is one of these books that I know is going to be sitting with me for a while, because there's lots of heavy themes in there, and themes that I like. I love the theme about identity. I love spirituality in fantasy, and people's voices about spirituality, and just looking at how spirituality can actually interact in everybody's everyday life, even if you don't know it. That's what I like about that. Plus, you've got magic. It's a fancy book after all, and there's magic, and the magic is very low level. It's very kind of organic. It's not flashy. It's very almost natural, I would say, because it sort of comes from you. It comes from within, and you're kind of born with it. You can learn it, but it comes within. And I would say it taps into the spirituality. So it's almost like magic is God and God is magic. And I love that idea. I think that's a really charming and beautiful idea, because if you think about it, in real life, without going too spiritual, we are kind of all magic. We are the light. We have special abilities. It's just that we don't know it. We are kind of, sometimes we can get caught up with everyday life, as opposed to just embracing what is important in life. And that really is about nature, and about living in the moment and the light, and being kind, you know, always trying to see the good in people, even if they can't see it within themselves. And that theme runs through this book as well. So I'm really looking forward to book 2. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait another year now, aren't I? But you know what? I'm probably going to crack on and read the second trilogy, which is The Red Queen's War, because yes, I've been inspired again by Mark Lawrence. So that is The Red Sister. Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. As I say, this was an advanced review copy. It's coming out in the UK, I think around about the 6th of April, and in America, I think it's about the 4th of April, but it's certainly the first week of April. You can obviously buy it from all good bookshops. I do recommend it, even though this was sent to me to review as a review copy. It is one of these books that will stay with you. If you enjoy heavy, kind of dense fantasy that's got real elements of reality in there, there's a lot of combat as well. I didn't mention that because obviously they're raised as killers. There's a lot of combat, there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of violence, but it's done not in a flashy kind of, you know, showy off, or let's just stick violence in for violence sake. It's actually quite integral to the story and to the plot and to her character's development. You know, it's part of her nature. Thoroughly recommend this. That's Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed that review. We have got lots of other reviews, but remember to keep it unreal, especially if you're a nun.